In this module, we'll introduce three very important devices in reading and writing rhetorically: ethos, pathos, and logos. These three key elements make up the rhetorical triangle according to Aristotle. Aristotle decided, or he was the first one to state, that these three elements of an argument needed to exist in order for that argument to be completely sound, or as persuasive as possible. Each of these words, as you may notice, corresponds with a Latin root, and we'll get into that to help you remember what each of them means. But first, you should just know the basics here. Ethos refers to credibility, as it says on the screen. Ethos refers to somebody's reputation, or what they stand for, and how trustworthy they are. Pathos stands for emotion. Pathos refers to the use of emotional appeal when you are making an argument. So pulling at someone's heartstrings or getting them to feel some kind of emotional response in order to get them to buy into what you're saying. The third element of the rhetorical triangle is logos. Logos refers to the use of data, hard facts, science, or just reason, logic, an if-then statement. If this, then this will occur, kind of reasoning. So we'll get into these three elements in more depth, but you want to make note of these basic definitions to begin with so that you have a general understanding. Okay, so let's go a little bit deeper into ethos. So when you refer to someone's ethos, as I just said, you're really referring to someone's expertise, someone's professional reputation, someone's trustworthiness, or even their personal experience. Your ethos can appear or come forth by showing the reader that you have a personal experience or relationship to whatever idea you're discussing or whatever topic is at hand. So let's say you are making an argument about why the United States should not have such strict immigration laws, okay? And you yourself are an immigrant, let's say from Russia. Your opinion or your ideas on this subject will hold some stronger validity than someone who is not an immigrant, because you can speak from a personal experience, okay? So you have yourself gone through some element, or you can bring something to the table that somebody who isn't an immigrant could. Another way that ethos can be explained is if a doctor supports something. You'll often see commercials where doctors and professionals or surgeons are mentioned as condoning a product or a practice. So this shows some expertise behind an opinion that lends it some other aspect of credibility. Lastly, ethos can come about when you see a celebrity who is endorsing a product or a company or something like that. Often actors and actresses and other famous people are asked to lend their ethos to a particular message. People recognize the celebrity. The celebrity has a certain kind of reputation that stands for trustworthiness, you would hope, and it helps to reach the audience. The second rhetorical device that Aristotle wants us to consider is the use of logos. So logos most typically appears in an argument in the form of statistics or data. It shows that an author really spent time doing some research before they did their argument, before they composed their argument. This, not only gives the author some credibility, but it also proves or offers some hard, undeniable facts to back up whatever their reasoning is. Logos can also appear in the form of, as I said before, an if-then statement. If somebody is making an argument for restriction of gun sales in the United States, they might say something like, if we restrict gun sales in the United States, then we will see a lower amount of pedestrian deaths every year, or something to that end. We will later on in this module provide a few more examples of specific if-then statements that you might see in an argument that's driven by logos. Third is, and last, is the rhetorical device pathos. Aristotle explained that pathos was an effective way to argue in certain circumstances. Certainly, many arguments do contain an element of pathos, but it is not necessary to have pathos in your argument, just as it's not necessary to have logos either. Aristotle did emphasize that ethos, without that, there can't be an argument, because essentially if you don't have ethos, what he called the most important rhetorical device, you really can't build an argument at all, because there's nothing to build it on. If you don't trust what somebody is saying, or if you don't trust the person who's speaking, then no matter what they say, no matter what kind of evidence they have, you're not going to buy into it. Okay, so back to pathos. Pathos gets people to feel happy, sad, or angry, which can help them to listen to and buy into your argument. You might be familiar with the SPCA commercial with Sarah McLachlan, where a lot of really horrible and saddening images of animals come up on the screen. Of course, and there's sad music playing in the background. This is all meant to make you feel something so that you buy into the message of the ad, which is to rescue animals. Humor, it should be noted, is also an element of pathos. It doesn't have to be that you make a reader feel sad or angry. You can also make them laugh, and that can help them buy into what you're saying as well. There's nothing like a good joke to get your readers interested in what you're talking about. As this quote says, though, wit is different than humor, because wit can come across sometimes as snobby, or like you're trying to put yourself above other people. Okay, so we'll go into this in the next few slides, but read on to figure out, or to find out, how two or more rhetorical appeals can work together. We will actually provide a video clip, or I will show you a video clip of this screenshot of Angelina Jolie in a conference. Okay, so start to think about each of these individual rhetorical devices or appeals, and then how over the course of a whole argument, how multiple of them can work together to help make a more powerful argument.